Well, hello lovely people, welcome to today's pick a card reading. We will be doing something, I was gonna say Hollywood themed, no, Halloween themed. So this will be our trick and treat reading. We will look at basically some positive energy coming your way, some negative things that you have to deal with, maybe that you are not seeing because trick has some aspect of surprise in it. So as you can see, there are 3 piles to choose from as regular with 3 stickers. Pick the one that you feel the most drawn to and let's explore what's coming up for you. Hello pile 1. If you chose the camera sticker over here, then this is your part of the reading. Let's get into your trick and treat energy. So on this side we have the trick side and on this side we have the treat side. And I have already shuffled and pulled cards for you, so we will get directly into it. I forgot to mention at the start, like this can have to do with a particular situation that you're wondering about, or it could be, of course, also like more general in the sense of something that is yet to happen and come, but this is like you will know how it resonates for you if it does. So let's get into it, starting with the trick energy part. So what these cards are giving me as an idea regarding the, let's say, more negative thing in this situation, the thing that tricked you somehow, the thing that maybe didn't work out perfectly, the thing where there was some kind of fork in the road. So it seems that you had conceived, let's say, because of this card now I can't think of another more suitable verb, you had conceived and started some kind of idea, I would say. Now, whether this is a business idea or some kind of other idea, there was some project, it seems, at the start of this that you started to work on. Like it came to your mind and you started to work on it. You also got the Ace of Cups, which can signify a similar thing. It is again an idea speaking of conception, and you know, conception doesn't have to be only of children, it can be of creativity, of different such pursuits. And there is an energy here, and I don't know if this is necessarily your energy or of another person. It could be both. Again, take it as you see it in your life. There is some kind of energy here of someone potentially sneaky with the Seven of Swords, but if not sneaky in the negative sense of this word, of someone trying to one-up yours on something or like screw you over, there is the energy here of someone that's trying to how do I say it, get out of a situation unscattered somehow. Is scattered the word? Maybe not. It's trying to find a smart way to get out of a situation, the winner, without getting your hands dirty. And this seems to be the thing that was or is the trickiest in this situation. So someone, either you or another person with this energy of the Seven of Swords, saw this situation, saw some kind of like, let's say, escape route or easy way out to get what they want by acting strategically and plotting. And there is an energy here of, let's say, laziness, so to say. Instead of putting it the hard work and the thing that's required to achieve the success in this situation, it seems like someone tried to take a short road. And this is kind of giving me the vibe that potentially it didn't work out, or maybe it is now in the process of not exactly panning out the way it was supposed to. You got the finger card, so definitely with the finger card there is the message that you need to pay attention, because even if there is not necessarily a problem at this point of time, the way that the energy here is going, there will be a problem somewhere along the line. And with the peacock, it might be part of the problem, might have to do with being prideful. Again, either yourself or it could be another person. And because of this issue of the Seven of Swords, sneaky energy, and potentially not wanting to get your hands dirty, like there was some kind of fork in the road. There might have been some kind of financial stress in the situation with the Five of Pentacles coming up. And also with the reversed Wheel of Fortune. It again speaks about the feeling of being unlucky here. And I think that this is what you have been dealing with in this situation and which has wasted some of your time. Now, the tricky part here is for you going to be moving out of that potentially prideful and somewhat lazy energy. So if you find yourself to be the person in this situation who embodies that energy of the Seven of Swords and the Peacock, it will be your place to work on it, to come from a stronger and more grounded in your self-esteem place. So if this is a self-esteem issue in the sense of you not believing in yourself, so maybe putting it half of an effort, then what the cards, what the failure, let's say, up to this point of the situation is trying to get you to focus on is your Queen of Wands energy. So the energy of putting yourself out there, not being afraid to put yourself out there, and facing challenges. And with the Camel, there is again the message that basically you need to persevere in this situation. You need to work on overcoming your problems. The key here will be putting in some kind of specific work, because both with the Wheel of Fortune, the idea behind it is that today you are down, tomorrow when it spins you are going to be up. But you need to continue staying firmly on that Wheel of Fortune, but also not only waiting for it to turn by itself, but putting in concrete, fiery action. So this is kind of the trick side of the situation. Now, moving on to the treat side, the other part of the tarot column. And with the treat side, it is also potentially something that maybe you are still not seeing. I feel like a part of the message here will have to do, and that's why I feel like that maybe you are not seeing it currently, especially if this person here is not you. If it's another person who somehow played a key role in this situation, not panning out the best and kind of tricking you into believing it was going to be better than it is, then I feel like the thing you are not seeing on the other side is that you will receive some kind of help and cooperation from another person. Because you got the Two of Cups, you also got the King of Swords and the Six of Pentacles. Now technically out of these cards, so the Two of Cups can definitely really strongly signify some kind of relationship energy. It is basically a card of finding balance and cooperating with others. It doesn't have to be like relationship, like romantic relationship. And with the King of Swords coming up, this can often speak about a type of, let's say, intellectual mentor. Like different types of authority figures can come into our lives. And with the King of Swords, that's typically, yes, intellectual guru is the best explanation I can come up with at the moment. So some kind of teacher, some kind of counselor, but someone who works through the mind, not necessarily helps you to deal with emotions purely, or isn't like an emotional support animal there for you. They have some kind of intellectual authority, and this is also how they help you. And with the Six of Cups coming up, it not of cups, of pentacles, it shows that you have this side of you where you are ready to, in relating to another person, offer what you have to them. Be charitable with your time and with your resources. You are open to that. So I feel like this will be the thing again that you are probably not seeing at this point, which will be the treat in this situation. And like generally also looking at the teacup oracle cards that came up on their side, there seems to be the general idea here of this situation is that something didn't work out initially, so to say, with a bigger plan, I guess. There is the energy, like, I guess this is somewhat basic to say, because in the spiritual community people often say like everything happens for a reason and blah blah blah, but your cards are giving that message by themselves. Like, it's not just that you did something wrong or something. This was supposed to be or to have a teaching moment. And this teaching moment, again, on this side, it's giving me the energy that it has to do with honest hard work. And the other side speaks about cooperation being part of that honest and hard work. Now, because you got the reversed, that's why I'm saying like there was some kind of bigger purpose to this. You got the reversed Ten of Wands and the reversed Hanged Man. Now with the reversed hanged Man, it speaks about some kind of forceful pause, so to say. It's basically the energy of just sitting there and waiting for something to happen and being somewhat frustrated, but like you can't, you feel like you're tied up. You feel like you can't necessarily do anything, and that just something has to change for this pause to be over. And with the Ten of Wands being reversed, there is the sense here that there might be an issue of taking on too much, needing to reprioritize somehow, again having some kind of delays, potentially even needing to say no to certain things. I would say that those are probably the cards that would rather hint that at this side of the reading, the issue might more so have to do with another person who embodied that energy that we talked at the beginning, and not necessarily yourself. But again, I said it could be you as well, so take it in whichever of the two ways resonate for you. So one potential way I see that panning out for you, like the resolvement of this, the resolution of this situation would have to do, like, you might either by meeting another person and getting in cooperation with them, they might bring you some kind of important new information, something which will get your gears going and turning once again, something that will ignite the fire within you again. We got the fire card with the message of strong emotions. Now, I would say there is also the warning here, because the king is quite the, let's say, not detached figure per se, but quite the emotionally balanced figure. Again, he is the figure of intellect and not of pure raw emotion. So I feel like there will be a part to this situation where you will be surprised how maybe at a certain point how fiery and emotional you might get over it. If you find yourself in that energy, use it to the best of your abilities, like exploit it literally to get your adrenaline up for continuing pursuit, but don't let it burn you out, and don't let it have a negative impact on your relationships. Like we discussed, there will be an aspect of this treat coming to you where cooperation with other people will be necessary. And with the Six of Cups, no, again of Cups, not of Cups, of Pentacles, like I said, it is a card of being charitable with oneself towards others, but this is not one-sided charity. So I think that you will absolutely find yourself in an equal balance partnership in this, but still there is the message with the purse of needing to pay attention to your finances. So if you find yourself somehow overstepping certain boundaries, healthy boundaries and logical boundaries, just make sure to pay attention to this. Like, especially if in the first part of the situation you were the party who was somehow screwed, here this has passed, or it will pass soon, but still you need to learn your lesson from it in order to move on to the positive manifestation of the situation. And because the cup with accept valid criticism and the hanged man came up one next to another, I would say that probably the thing that you might not want to hear now, but will be positive later on, is that if someone, like for instance this cup, this king, this authority figure, if someone comes into your life and offers you valid criticism regarding how you handled this earlier when you were still on this side, by accepting it, you will much faster move out of this stuck and paused energy. It might even surprise you that just by changing your perspective a little bit, it's going to do wonders. And this is similar also with the 10 of Wands energy that came up, that advises you of sharing your responsibilities. The positive side of the situation will pass through you sharing responsibilities, sharing burdens, sharing ideas. Also letting the ego go and admitting some kind of mistakes in the past, and by sharing resources, of course, of yourself. And I feel like the most surprising thing out of all of this is that by doing those simple steps, things will resolve themselves fairly soon, or fairly fast, in regards to your expectations. So if you're feeling that the situation, the way it started, in a way it got backed up an awful lot, it's going to be really easy to get out of it once you do those easy steps of cooperating and keeping a little bit of your previous issues at bay. And because the May card came up for you here, maybe the final resolution of this, or the final result, might potentially come in May, or maybe not. It might be earlier, who knows. But definitely, if the month periods resonate with you, take them as some kind of general guidance. So let's say if this situation there started in August with the sneaky person, everything might resolve itself up till May. Or in May you might get the whole picture of what exactly needed to happen, when and why, in order for this to turn out good. Because like, yeah, both with trick and treat energy, there is quite the feeling of not exactly knowing what you're going to get. And I feel like this is maybe something that's bugging you right now, but just kind of trust the steps and they will resolve themselves in the way that they should. Good pile one, I hope that this was helpful and it sparked some ideas in your mind regarding the situation, and I wish you all the best. Hello pile 2, if you chose this kitty sticker over here, then this is your part of the reading. So let's get into it, what this trick and treat energy is for you guys. On this side we have the trick energy, and on that side we have the treat energy. And because I didn't mention it in the beginning, this can of course apply to a specific situation you are asking about, or it could be more general. Now let's get into your specific cards and what they are telling me. Starting with the more difficult or the trick side of the situation, like what has been problematic, tricky to deal with, maybe surprising in a not so positive way. So, what your cards are giving me is that the trick for you in this situation had to do with the themes of self-exploration and fitting that self-exploration and self-discovery into your current reality and fitting it into your current relationships above all else, I feel. I feel that the struggle here was or still is currently between you trying to achieve some kind of inner freedom and trying to change something about yourself, basically self-exploring in the literal sense, and the way you have probably projected yourself up till this point, or the way that people are used to you acting, or something with your previous you and your now you clashing with others' expectations. So let's get a little bit into the specific cards one by one. So the first card that you got is the reversed Two of Swords, which is a card of indecision. It's basically stalling because your options seem limited, or they seem like something that no matter what you choose, you're going to be in the wrong. So if it is in the sense of you don't know whether you should choose yourself or the other people, either way you feel like you are losing something. Either you are unfulfilled with yourself, or you are letting other people who are potentially also important for you in your life somehow down. And this makes you like being a Mexican heist with yourself, like you're just standing there and no one's doing anything, you're just pointing guns at each other. And with the Page of Wands coming up afterwards for you, it does speak of this need that's probably tricky for you to deal with, that your soul wants to explore something, like whether it's a specific idea or passion or something that you have for yourself, or whether it's a general feeling of wanting to grow and develop and explore everything everywhere. There is just this expansive energy that wants to be let out. You can see how the lady in the card is jumping up with joy and with energy, like this is your energy as well. And then we have some more grounding energy, so to say. We have the 9 and the 10 of Pentacles, and those are generally happy cards. The 9 of Pentacles is a card which tells you to stop to smell the roses a little bit and enjoy the fruits of your labor up to this point. So it does give me the idea that you have positive things in your life, you have things that you're what's it called, that you are grateful for, you have things to enjoy, you have people around you to enjoy as well. But there is this message with the 9 of Pentacles that there might be a point of over enjoying yourself. So the 9 of Pentacles can be kind of a workaholic lady, so this is the one failure, potential failure of this card. But it also speaks about like you have achieved a lot, but there is still something more you could be doing. Like this is not the end all be all of your situation. And with the 10 of Pentacles, it's giving me a similar vibe where again, it is kind of the happy family card. Even the people on the card itself are depicting exactly that. So it seems that you have some support network around you. It seems that you have stability around you. It seems that you are not really lacking in your life. But there is still something more you need to explore. Like we are not one-dimensional people. We also need to evolve beyond what society tells us is enough for us to be happy. And I feel like that you are at this point. And you got the Hermit card, which is probably I would say the most spiritual card in that sense, that the mission of the hermit is to separate himself from the rest, to go somewhere, enjoy his own company, and find something out about his path and what his soul wants and what's important to him. So the combination of your cards are giving me that you are momentarily in this clash of, on the one hand, having good things and life and relationships, but also wanting to explore more and potentially being afraid of what this exploration may bring. Now, the tea leaf oracle cards that came up for you speak about a potential of some person in your life being a little bit shady. Now, if this is not the case, they might be speaking about just you having a sense of paranoia that if you do something in this explorative direction, that people will turn against you. But like, take it as it resonates. It can be either or. But we have a couple of cards which speak about the fear of somehow upsetting people, having problems in your relationships with people. We have the Dark Woman, who is a neutral card. Like, it just speaks about some kind of relationship with a dark woman. So maybe such a woman with dark hair, dark eyes, dark complexion even maybe might be an important figure in this situation, who is worrying you what she will do or what she will think of you, or whether she is trying to cause you harm in any way. And we also have the Family Sorrow card, as well as that someone might try to make you do something against your will. So maybe, again, this might be imagined energy or this might be real energy. It seems that the thing that's stalling you right now is that worry about your relationships with people, and that they are trying to enforce on you one thing when you want to do something else, or at least you want to try a whole lot of different things before you decide what exactly you want to do. Now, because you got, like pile 1, you got the Cup card with you should accept valid criticism. And that might be a part of the issue here. I don't know if you have found yourself to be a little bit too sensitive in this situation, which would make total sense, especially if you feel like people around you are not being supportive somehow of you and your current path. Like, it makes perfect sense. With the Beware of Greed, I see this happening both ways. It could be warning you of being careful of other people being greedy towards you and telling you what you should and shouldn't do. But also, I would see it in the way of not being overtly sensitive to the people around you, which is, again, of course, easier said than done. But there is the combination here of you somehow needing to learn to detach from your emotions, maybe a little bit. Also, detach your core being from your surroundings a little bit. Like, this will be somehow part of the lesson for you. And this is, of course, the tricky energy here, because, like I said, easier said than done to not pay attention to those around us, especially if it is our close people, if it is our family. But yeah. Now, moving on to the treat energy of the treat part of your reading. Honestly, the good part of your reading is just speaking in the most general sense of the fact that you are in the process of overcoming this, and it will be quite the change. The internal change above all else. So this won't have to do necessarily with the people around you changing in any way, even if they need to, but just your perspective of this situation and of this issue will change. It will become a non-issue. issue, so to say. So the first card you got is the Five of Cups, and the Five of Cups is kind of the card of crying over spilled milk. Like, so we have this lady with the hole in the ground, and she is sad that the eggs or the whatever it is going down the drain, but she isn't aware that there is more coming behind her. She just needs to turn around and open her eyes. And I feel like this is the energy that you're probably currently still in, and that you're trying to recover slowly. You also got a couple of tea leaf oracles with similar messages of like temporary problems, problems to be resolved, like being fearless and taking a chance, taking a risk. So this will be a process and it will require effort on your side, but you will get to that transformation, because the second card that you got is the Death card. And we know what the Death card is: death and rebirth. Like, death is never the end all be all of things. It's just the closing of one chapter and then moving on to the next chapter. And it might be scary, but it's just, it makes me think of all the people who have like died for 2 minutes and then gotten back to life, and they say about how peaceful and blah 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 it was. Whether you believe in like in rebirth and all of that, it doesn't matter, or you just believe in the cold hard facts that our brain tricks us when we are dying, so we wouldn't be traumatized, let's say, so it would be able to relax a little bit. It doesn't really matter. There is this idea generally in life, and I believe strongly in it, that things look much more scarier when we are anticipating them than when we are in the midst of them. Like, our psyche has this ability to handle things when they happen. So you know how people have, for instance, what's it called? People who have fear-based conditions, like, for instance, catastrophizing for the future. One of the worst thing is that you catastrophize about things that have never happened, that are unlikely to happen, but you think about them all of the time. And one of the treatment plans for that is basically sitting in that thought and that energy till it basically runs itself out, till you get desensitized to it. And this is a part of our psyche that plays in a lot of situations. Like, when you are just thinking about something in general terms, when you are not dealing with it, it seems much scarier than when you start to chip at it a little by little, because it is a part of your reality. And this will be probably the surprise for you in this situation, that as difficult as it might seem right now and unfair, and how I handle this change, once you are in the midst of it, it will become easier. That's when also the courage and the stamina and the energy will come for you. But it might take that step of the tiger to do something a little bit risky and taking a chance. You got also the Seven of Cups card, which can speak about that as well, about basically gambling on something, making a choice. Like, you have a lot of choices, you just need to take one of them and move forward with it. And the other thing is that it is absolutely possible that even if right now you don't feel like you have that many chances, once you take that first chance, that first gamble, then you would see all of the different options in front of you. It will be kind of like the start of a wish fulfillment, so to say. And you got the Harp card with the message of great happiness. So there is definitely this path for you. There you just need to start following it. Now, you also got the Magician card and the Two of Cups. So the energy that's still a little bit blocked, but that will start to clear itself out will be, on the one hand, with the Two of Cups, it speaks again about some kind of discord in relationships. Now, I think that definitely with your relationships, the way the change is going to start is that before the relationships themselves improve and change, your mindset will be the first thing that changes. So you will be okay with some little bit of criticism or misunderstanding from the people around you, and at a later date then the people will start to be on your page. And because next to the Two of Cups and to the Magician came up the Man card with dealings or relationship with a man, maybe this still kind of stuck energy will have to do with one specific man in your life. The good thing is that you also got the Eagle card with triumph over troubles and obstacles. So I don't feel like he will be a huge obstacle here. Like, this seems like a hiccup which will be easier to solve than, again, you might anticipate. And with the Magician card, this can potentially, of course, signify another person who is not completely sure of themselves and not completely in their creator energy. But I am more inclined to say that this is probably still speaking about you. Like, you will be on the path of this change, you will be working towards it. You will be exploring it though. Like, if the upright Magician is the Magician standing in his full force, being able to control all of the elements, in the reverse position he is still not quite sure. Like, he is testing the waters. He is doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that and seeing whether it will work. Like, he still doesn't have this inner knowing that it will work. So maybe this is you. There might be a little bit here of struggling with as fast as progress as you want, but the progress will definitely start. And if it is speaking about that other person, the combination of the Magician and the Two of Cups, just because the two cards are somehow giving me the feeling that they're connected in this reading, if this is this man in your life that's in this energy of not being quite sure and not being also absolutely nice to be relationshipy with, I think you will be the person to show them how to move out of this energy. By seeing you, observing you, that person will be able to tap into somehow into some kind of higher knowing or trusting themselves more to also overcome the given obstacles. So, like I said, take it either for you or for another person as it fits your situation. But yeah, pile 2, I think that's everything for now. I hope that this was helpful for you and I wish you all the best. Hello, pile 3. If you chose this cute little doggy sticker over here, then this is your part of the reading. Now let's get into it. On the left side we have the trick energy and on the right side we have the treat energy. And I don't know how to say it in the best way, in the most articulate and easy to understand way, but out of the 3 piles I feel like your came the most mixed, so to say, because you have some, let's say, more difficult cards on both sides of your reading. So I feel like for you the trick and the treat of this situation will absolutely go hand in hand, parallel the whole time, meaning that the positive out of this situation will itself be a little hard and maybe not the most pleasant thing, but at the end it will be positive. So let's get into the cards one by one to speak more about the specifics. So On the trick side of the reading, when it comes to the tarot cards specifically, and then we will get into the oracle cards, the tarot cards speak about some kind of disconnect from self and from one's intuition, and some kind of deep pain. Especially, it might be, I mean, pain is always emotional because pain turns into suffering when our emotions and negative thoughts get involved. So it's not that you can necessarily separate the mind from the emotions, but with sword energy, what I'm getting at is the idea that there is something that mentally hurts us. So something about our thoughts that hurts us, even beyond the initial pain. So if it's another person, for instance, that has caused this pain, then our mind is only making it worse. Or if it is us ourselves who are causing ourselves pain because of some kind of decision or action or whatever, then our mind can continue stabbing us with that sword even more and more, and basically like turning it around. Now, with your cards, the first card that came up for you is the reversed High Priestess, which speaks about some kind of distrust in oneself, some kind of distrust in one's intuition, some kind of also losing that connection to oneself, kind of floating there without knowing exactly where you are, like disconnected from everything. And there is just this energy with her of being in some kind of inner chaos and turmoil. There might be also here the fearful energy of maybe getting attacked at a certain point, or people, let's say, speaking about us behind our back or something like that. But it's just a feeling of anguish. And speaking of that feeling of anguish, you also got the 8 and the 10 of Swords card, which are basically that. The 8 of Swords is a card of 8 stressors being present in our lives and us feeling trapped by them. And the 10 of Swords is literally having 10 swords in your back and laying there dying. So I feel like the tricky part that you're dealing with right now, whether it's in general a feeling for your life or regarding a specific situation, just feels somehow hopeless. And now what specifically this situation is about, I can't necessarily say. You got the Stork card, which can speak about some kind of new business opportunity. So I don't know whether this anguish has to do with that specifically, or it also speaks news of a birth. But you know, take it as it resonates, or don't take it at all if it doesn't resonate. With the Page of Pentacles coming up for you, it does speak about material things. Pentacles are normally about our finances and our material world. And because the Page energy is the starter energy, it might be speaking about a particular idea that you had or that you currently have and maybe aren't trusting because of all this energy of anguish that's surrounding it. But it can just generally speak about us putting effort into some kind of self-development. So again, I am not seeing, based on your cards, that this anguish comes from one specific thing, but like take it in whichever way it resonates for your situation. Now, that's why also I kind of said that on both sides with you, we have energy of ups and downs. So there is the reminder here with the tricky part of your energy that you need to strive for balance. And your cards are very much giving an extreme of balance of negative thoughts and emotions, and positive thoughts and emotions. So I feel like the cards are trying to remind you, even in the tricky part of this, is that you need to stand on the ground with both of your feet a little bit more. It seems that you're getting carried away a little bit too much by your mind, and although a part of that might make sense, if there was something particular that happened that caused this anguish, of course it would make sense that you would be upset, but there is another level of this where it seems that your mind is over dramatizing it. So with the Eight of Swords, the card speaks often about us being confined in our own mind, because the idea of the card is that she is not really tied up. The swords are not a prison, they are just standing there around her, but she can take the blindfold off and move on at any time. But she is choosing not to do it because her mind is in the idea that she can't. Kind of like that meme where you have a horse that's tied to a chair and it thinks that it's tied up and that it can move, but it's a horse. The chair has, and it's a plastic chair, so it has nothing on the horse, but the horse stands there just because it believes that it can move. So there might be a part of this situation that tricks you, also tricks your mind. Maybe this is the idea with you, that the trick part of it is just your mind playing tricks on you, that you can't move out of this situation, when in fact it is up to you. Like most things in our life, even if we can't control them specifically and how they turn out, we can control ourselves. And you got some positive cards on this side as well, with this one. Speaking of, you will be taken care of in difficult times, I feel like it's there to remind you and your overly critical mind at this point that basically this too shall pass and it will get better. Like there will be some kind of intervention to help you to move forward. And we also have the reminder, yes, you have obstacles to overcome, but they are not as huge as you might be expecting them. Now, with the club, we have the energy that there might be a person who will try to make you do something against your will. So if this is something that you relate to, if you see an energy of such a person in your life, be careful. Now with the page energy, because the page energy is young energy, it still doesn't exactly know what it's doing. There might be the advice here that if you are trying to do something where you are fairly new, you are just starting to play the game, so to say, you might profit from looking for some kind of mentorship in that area. Someone might be able to help to guide you. But at the same time, because of this card, even with that, even with mentors, of course, it is good to trust people and to be open to them, but you also always have to have something in the back of your mind that someone might trick you down the not most optimal path, whether it is with good or with bad intentions. And like with the death card, there is just this overall energy that you are afraid of changing. And I feel like the thing you are afraid to change at this point is those negative thoughts of yours. I feel like you might have gotten a little bit attached to them, not in the sense that you enjoy them per se, not in any means, but somehow sometimes we keep ourselves stuck in situations which don't feel amazing, just because we either like believe that we deserve them somehow, or just because it is something familiar. So you know, the issue of at least it's the devil, you know, that type of thing. So definitely I feel like the biggest struggle for you in this situation will have to do with a mind shift. Something in your mind is playing tricks on you. And if we are to move into the technically more positive side of your reading, so basically the treat part of your reading, it is again a little bit up and down. Now there is the promise of some kind of deep change happening here, especially with the Tower card coming up in the mid position. It speaks about that there will be a time where this unstable foundation, probably mental foundation that you have, will break down and things will have to then be rebuilt from the ground up again. But it won't necessarily be an easy peasy lemon squeezy type of ride. So a couple of things that will bring you in that direction, closer in that direction, will be, on the one hand, sitting with yourself calmly. This will be an important part of it for you. You need to sit with yourself calmly under a tree, like the guy on the first card on the Four of Cups. And you need to let your mind breathe. You need to relax and wait for some kind of clarity or opportunity to come towards you. You see how on the card we have this hand of God that's offering him a cup. This is something I feel like might happen for you in this situation and bring you forward. Either someone else, especially if you are planning on actually looking for some kind of mentorship in this situation, either someone else will inspire you with a particular idea, or at the point where you find the time to sit down and quiet your mind and focus on something else. In the card he is shown reading a book, so maybe like journaling or meditation or reading something positive for the mind. That will be the point where this clarity will come for you. And the next step, I feel like, that will bring you closer with the Seven of Swords energy will have to do with some kind of strategic planning. So if this is regarding a tangible project, it might be exactly that, like planning your steps really carefully and then following that strategy. Or if it's with other people, again, planning strategically how we're going to handle them, how we're going to talk to them, what are you gonna do with one another, and so on. If it's just you and your mind, which I am seeing as the biggest issue here, then it will be strategy in the sense of knowing when and how to work with your mind in order to avoid that negative energy over here of overthinking and self-hurting yourself with your thoughts. And this strategy can be different things. For instance, one book that a person recommended to me a long time ago, and I use it every now and again. There's this book from Ken Keyes, let's say, which is called How to Enjoy Your Life in Spite of It All. For instance, it is kind of, it's not a woo-woo type of book. It is more so psychology related, I would say. Or let's say it's between psychology and spirituality. But it's basically tangible techniques you can use to work with your mind to reprogram it, so it would work better for you. So when we are speaking about mind strategies, maybe this is something that will push you in the right direction. Finding self-help tools, finding schedules, finding particular things to do in order to strategically surpass those issues that you're currently having. And with the Tower, there will definitely be a point in this, the breakthrough moment, where those crankly foundations here will fall apart, and then you will have to start rebuilding something new. And when those fall apart, I feel like the main thing that's going to happen is that you will move finally away from something which you have found to not have been serving you for quite some time, but you are never strong enough to really leave it behind you, basically. Once that Tower collapses and you have the opportunity to start building it up from the ground up, this will be the point of clarity for you when you will also leave something else behind. Now, I don't think that this is speaking about leaving behind just the negativities of your mind. This will be a particular thing. Maybe with Cups energy, it will be a particular relationship, or if it's not a relationship, I want to say that it's some kind of particular dream you saw for yourself. Because, like, for instance, if you take the Seven of Cups is the wish fulfillment card, seeing a million different possibilities in front of ourselves and not knowing which one to choose. And with the Eight of Cups, there is the sense of this dream dying for a reason, not just to punish us, but because it truly didn't serve us and it wasn't what we wanted and what we needed, but above all else, it wasn't really what we wanted. There was some kind of issue behind it, and now we are able to move forward. This will be for you, I feel like, the same. And you also got the Five of Wands card as the last card, which might just be speaking exactly about that point in this transition where you will separate from those negativities, but it might also speak about and reference just the point of some kind of conflict with people in your life, especially if this card here with walking away from something, especially if it has to do with another person. It's very possible that this causes some kind of strife, but you will definitely walk away from it maybe a little bit beaten. So maybe a little bit, but there will be some kind of victorious energy to it. And especially because on the tea leaf oracle side of your reading, we got a couple of cards that speak about a stubborn and aggressive person. I don't know if this is you in this situation. It could be a warning of not going overboard and going like berserk war machine type of energy towards the situation once the negativities crumble down. But if it is another person, it can signify that once you move through those steps, that other person is somehow unhappy with it and shows you that unhappiness quite clearly. If this is the case, I would say that the best thing for you, apart from this walking away, will be to basically accept it and say, hey, it is what it is. We can agree to disagree, but I am moving forward. Because once you move out of this energy, there will be clearing up, there will be clear skies, there will be happiness, there will be well-being. But until you get to that point, it will be a little bit rocky. So I am sure this doesn't sound like the most positive thing ever, but this is the way I am seeing it for you guys. So it's going to be everything all at once. Sunshine and rainbows, and also thunderstorm during the whole thing. But at the end, it's going to definitely be worth it. So yeah, I hope that this resonated, or if it didn't resonate, even better, then I hope that things are even more great than the cards lay them out to be for you. And yeah, I hope that it was helpful, and I wish you all the luck.